fun. Instead, Twisted Fate here for Faker. It's been quite a while since we've been talking about him playing TF, but he did certainly used to be a big fan, and it also takes it away from Showmaker. This has been something that Showmaker has lent on largely in games 3 through 5, right? To get towards a TF game, make stuff happen that way, so it's a good pick away.
This is a pretty risky answer. Obviously, the ultimate is going to allow you to go where you want to go and try to get access to the Aphelios, but if you fall too far behind in the game, it just doesn't do enough. As we'll see the Ahri to come through here for Showmaker.
This has been one of Showmaker's most successful picks. And, oh man.
This has to be jungle Jax, right?
Like, this is an incredible Jax angle. Like, as far as the Jax angles are concerned, the Counter-Strike value, Ruthless Predator, and the gold card both being entirely mitigated.
If you go Jax into the Renekton, then you can have... Okay, they're going to swap things up, it looks like, but they have no plan, Atlas. Like, there's like 5 seconds left, and you're flipping through these three. I'm a little bit concerned, but...
Olaf kind of makes some sense, but I don't quite like it just because, okay, that is the Kha'Zix. So we saw Kha'Zix get banned yesterday. This one's going to go, especially this Kha'Zix jungle pick. Let's get into the rift for game number 3. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for what could be the final game of the series. As already, we see a little bit of a setup here, as FaZe and Carrier feeling pretty confident by the looks of things.
Yeah, Lulu lanes usually get to walk up, and FaZe has the extra range with his Calibrum, so he's just gonna, hold spacebar and look to see if anyone walks into the circle. As at this point, level 1 should be a pretty favorable one for T1.
Yeah, ebb and flow working out though here, as Smash really wanted to find that Light Slinger, but could not. That'll be okay. Ambessa versus Kha'Zix. Haven't really seen that one before. We've also taken the first strike as Xiu, just doing some Xiu things. We know that he really likes this Olaf lock-in. We've seen Kingen play it so far this season in the LCK Cup.
We've seen Zeus play it a lot in the past.
Very true.
It is a pick that if you need to get on top of somebody, and there's a lot of annoying CC in the way, can allow you to do just that.
It is like, it's one of the OG stat check champions as well. You know, like, you just kind of run at them, and either you'll die or kill them. And that is just sort of Olaf in a nutshell.
It's kind of designed that way. It is a very fun champion to play when you are ahead. It's less fun when you're behind and the Aphelios has 3 items.
Well, right now, he is looking pretty ahead.
So are we finally going to get that Smash versus FaZe game where FaZe, has a Lulu with them, right? He's set up for success, but Smash still has a lot of agency. Like, that's my dream scenario here for this third game, is that we see Smash have some really cool angles. He finally gets some outplay opportunities. He's not so far behind that he just can't play the game. Like game 2 on the Ezreal, where everything is on fire, and he's like, well, I don't even know what the plan is here for me. I really can't offer anything for you guys. He got his Endless Hunger, and he's like, I'm ready to play the game. Anyone alive?
Yeah, the Endless Hunger did kind of live up to its name. He looked like he was pretty hungry to be able to do anything at all in that game. Wasn't quite able to, as right now, it's looking to be very similar, as these health bars are dire on the side of DPLUS. The Ambessa rotating around, looking pretty far away from being able to help out this bottom lane. And so
Lucid
Smash is doing his best to survive.
Okay.
Oh, Ona will be moving up here. Level 4s for both. Void Spike connects.
From Showmaker.
Yeah, and that is just going to be Ona stealing away the crab. As Undertow, not going to quite connect, as Doran is able to just slice his way out of there.
It could have been a little bit more interesting there in the mid lane, but nothing comes of it except the crab secure, as you mentioned.
Ooh, fun thing is that the Olaf gets to take Ghost. That's a bit of something.
That's
make it just throws out a charm.
Pretty good for Olaf to be able to close the gap on people when he has his slows coming through. But at the same time, we'll miss the shield quite significantly later on.
Yeah, I'd say so. As Faker clears out that wave pretty comfortably. And things all looking pretty tied up in that mid lane, outside of the stack deck, which will allow Faker to just make more money, as we can see is happening.
There's been a few games where... Okay, hold up. Showmaker, does he get the charm?
Yeah, it does. Tries to find it, doesn't quite pick the juke. Faker still takes a lot of Foxfire damage, though, and is getting zoned away from the wave a little bit.
We've had now basically 3 games where the bottom lane was won pretty significantly. In the first game, FaZe and Keria stemmed the bleeding really well. In the second game, Career tried to make some stuff happen with his hooks, didn't work out. In this game, we're starting to see Smash and Career get through the toughest parts of this. We'll stabilize a little bit here. Nice bubble.
That was a very nice bubble. At least something connecting there as Lucid rotating around Faker with full information as to where the enemy jungler is, but Ona does have now an isolated target to dive on top of.
Yeah, he likes it when they're alone.
Yeah. Lucid doesn't seem too worried about it, though. As remember, Spirit Rush not quite there, so Showmaker cannot get over that wall unless he has a flash. Lucid not able to press that smite button before Ona does. Taste their fear plus smite is a lot of damage.
Now, first strike on the Kazakhs as well will start to build up some money. He's got a serrated Dirk. Mbessa is pretty durable, you know, in the early levels compared to a lot of other junglers. So with his mobility, Lucid can kind of just go in and see what he can find, and then there's no way for Owner to really follow up. If he gets that burst damage, he just walks away for now. So I like the idea of kind of fishing for that type of play. The bottom side of the map, control regained for a moment for Smash and Career. They'll get their synced back, whereas it's a split back here. Rip.
Yep. A little bit sad there, -1s in chat. As Doran looking to try and stop some backs, but looks like he is just going to go back to clearing out this wave.
He has TP, and Shiu does not, so if he can mess up some of these back timings, keep the wave right here. It's very annoying for Shiu.
Yep.
And he's just going to have to run back as fast as possible. And, well, not ghost back. It's not that desperate, but still pretty good position here for Doran to even up the CS and keep himself in a safe spot. As now we're going to put the attention on this dragon here, bottom side. And it's going to be a pretty big fight, potentially, for this first dragon. Faker does have his ultimate to join at a moment's notice.
One thing I do want to see is DK actually up the amount of pressure that they have in the early stage of the game. Actually fight for the first Drake or two, because they've just been giving them up, and I feel like it's given away so much of their tempo in this series, as Lucid will be able to at least get a crab, so that's going to help give him a little bit of extra control around that area.
There's a lot
Drake, though, is very tanky.
Yeah, there's a lot of burst damage on both sides as Doran.
Yeah, there's the gate, as we're going to need to throw out the Ragnarok. Let's see whether this kill can actually come through. The undertow, not enough, and first blood goes to Doran with the help of Faker.
And there's just no quick response here from DPLUS. Like, they have an Ahri that's just going to get plates and trade, and they can't make a play bottom side. Obviously, the Ahri can't follow here, so just going to be a little bit of plate gold on the other side of things here for Showmaker, and it's just not equivalent. Remember, Shiu, again, does not have teleport.
This, I mean, it's a cannon
wave, but like it's minus the cannon.
Yeah, it is. It's looking real dire. And this was a lane that DK were winning.
And it's pretty set up here. Like, I think it's hard because the wave was set up really well by Doran. Like, what do you do as Shiu when you see Doran's like got his Fury ready for an empowered W and Faker's missing?
Well, in the meantime, red-white gun's here for FaZe, and Smash is going to have to try and cull him down. There's the bubble that connects, but it's just last hit by the Moonlight Vigil. And FaZe is on the board. Showmaker can try and take him off that board, though, as point blank, the charm will connect, and down will go the Aphelios. So, bit of extra movement speed for the Ahri, but Keria will survive.
Well, that's a big win for DPLUS if they get that back. If they had just lost Smash alone there, would have been a disaster for them. Still not great, but at least there's a consolation prize there, and the Ahri will close that gold gap a little bit in the mid lane. It's a very fiery early start to this game suddenly, with Faker making that play top side. Shiu gets caught, waves in an awkward spot, can't get the kill. Bottom side, they make the all-in happen with the level 6 advantage. It's played brilliantly by FaZe, gets the ult off before the bubble goes down, secures the kill there. They almost get Career as well.
Okay.
As I watch this from his perspective, he hits level 6, goes in for it.
Oh, meanwhile, there's more stuff happening in live, but flashes after, last hits with the ulti. And in live, we're just going to be backing away.
Yeah, in live, looking like red-white still set up here for FaZe with no ult and no sums. He has to be very careful.
Doesn't have a lot of Severum left, but I think he'll be okay with that. As Ona will be able to help clear out some vision. First Drake still hasn't gone down, as Lucid looking to dash around this fight. Ona gets a lot of damage taken, and the ulti follows him! Smashed to the ground by Lucid! Once again, having a good time here in this game number 2 in the early game, and they might be able to turn that into a dragon.
That was a bit greedy there from the side of T1, especially from Owner. As Lucid just says, all right, well, wait for my opportunity. Now FaZe doesn't have that Severum anymore. He's going to try to push them out of this bottom lane so they cannot get the Dragon for free, but Lucid is already well and truly working on it here. Faker with ult at the ready. This is going to get potentially messy around Dragon.
Yeah, and it looks like Lucid has actually backed away. So we mentioned it before, the Dragon's pretty tanky when it's the mountain variety, and Lucid unable to get through it, as Showmaker will get stunned and does not connect the charm. So a little bit unfortunate for him.
And that's just a Kha'Zix now on the Dragon, and it's still tanky, but they regain control of the bottom lane, and Owner's going to press Q, and that Dragon health bar is going to go down.
Yeah,
and
it's on a fresh back as well. Like, he comes back with more items, isolates the Dragon, and we'll be able to take that one down. So once again, it is first Drake going over to T1.
It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back here for DPLUS, and Faker has so much control over this mid lane now. Top side obviously massively favoring Doran at this stage. Going back to this setup here, Owner gets a lot of damage done initially, but they cannot follow the play, and all it takes is a ult follow here from Lucid. And that's the end of that. Curry has to flash his way out of there as Smash was ready for more.
Yeah, that was beautifully played by Lucid. Unfortunately, it was the map movement afterwards that left a little to be desired. Unable to actually finalize that Dragon. It's still a 1,000 gold lead here for T1, even with the kills being pretty even. So hoping to see a better a better mid game out of DK, hoping to actually translate some of the advantage that Lucid has built here in the jungle to something more, and allow Xiu to just run at Pays and kill him in some of these fights. Can those stat checks actually come through, and can he even pass them? As Pays does just walk away from Smash, engage, and find too much. Malignant's done here for Showmaker. That's first item. That feels good.
Owner is going to start these grubs here, and Showmaker's on the back. Should it be a relatively safe grub take here with Lucid on the other side of the map.
One day, Lucid's going to help actually secure a neutral objective.
One day, maybe in the LCK season.
Yeah. He did manage to steal away a Dragon, but that was the third one. I'm talking more about in this early stage of the game.
Yeah, he
Set
has...
them up with a little bit of tempo.
Unfortunately, T1's tempo and their ability to make these calls quickly has been so good. It's been the shot calling for T1 that has been what they've been known for forever, as Doran is going to look to stop it back and maybe look for more.
Yeah, as Ragnarok actually going to be used here. Let's see whether Doran actually wins out on this fight, as into the brush he goes. There's the flash to follow. Will he have it? No, he does not. Doran just ends the Viking, and down he falls once again.
And Showmaker also may be in trouble.
Yeah, looking for an angle himself, as now the charm is going to miss. Good footwork there from Faker to make sure that he survives.
I actually did not realize that was Lucid there in the brush. It's Owner on the bottom side, and he is going to continue to allow his team to put pressure down in this bottom lane as the solo kill goes over on the top side. And Atlas, I was hoping for a game here, and it's still possibly going to be a game. Smash wants it to be a game.
Yeah, he's going to cull. Pays takes a bit of damage here, but it's just not really looking like they can follow up too much, and there is Owner in the vicinity as well. DK needs to be careful. Owner really playing this one patiently.
It's crazy how it seems like how little credit Doran will get for this series, but he's had an amazing one as, oh boy.
Yeah, there is the Destiny, and Smash is gonna cleanse and does make himself, does get himself out of there. Lucid over here as well. They have full information as to the rotations here for DK, as Faker with that gold card will connect it on to Lucid, but he does dash his way out of there.
Smash ended up avoiding a lot of the damage there, so it's not like they can just get the free win afterwards. Smash, it's not like Smash lived with like 10% health. You can't join the fight. They have to be careful. In fact, they're going to try to push for more here. I like this call from DPLUS.
They don't have a lot of summoners left on this Lucian, and Pays does have both of his still available, so they do need to be a little careful of that. But
Lucid
Faker is now back in the mid lane.
On a good angle here, and he has flash. They can try to make this work.
Let's see whether it does work out, as the bubble is going to connect. That means that the public execution comes down. Wild Growth is fantastic, as Carrier will be able to take one back, as now Lucid looking for it on a Pays. He has red-white, but it is not enough. The Ambessa will reign supreme, as Owner just finds the angle, and he's looking to taste even more fear as Lucid dashes, and the smite comes down to make sure that it's Pays that grabs the kill.
Oh boy, that was Lucid's smite there at the end. Pays gets the kill. So the ult on the Ambessa, we're going to go back to this play here, where Faker was able to sidestep his way out. Actually, insanely impressive.
Crush
Smart pings. Okay, but here, the ult from Lucid doesn't... I want to watch
So
this
it hits
again.
Carrier.
Yeah, it hits Carrier, right?
Yeah. Because Carrier flashed into it.
Yeah, that's
what
crazy.
An absolute
That's such
gamer, man.
Like, I still can't even almost quantify that really happened. I mean, Lucid had the bubble set up, and then Owner here gets on top of Smash. And then what are you going to do?
Yes, Smash is like, I'm playing some... Oh, no, never mind.
Tries to smite Owner to buy some space.
Yeah, so
he still goes over
like,
the
if
base.
there was enough time that had actually passed, then he would have, he could have potentially got an execute. Unfortunately, once again, Lucid unable to quite have enough time to be out of combat.
And that was almost such a good punish, right? It was almost such a good punish.
I mean, the gold lead is less than it was, so it's now closer in the game. So that's good. The Drake has just spawned. It's a Hex Tech Dragon, so the souls, you know, could be a little dicey.
Showmaker has, you know, not been able to Destiny around the map, so he's got some extra money in his pockets. He has the most gold in the game. Maybe he can carry on this Ahri. I mean, that's another win con here is, I don't know about tussling with this Renekton, especially when he gets his empowered W on you before you can ult.
Oh, Carrier gonna get culled momentarily.
I don't know if he really minds it.
Nope. He probably minds the 4 people that were bearing down upon him.
This might just be a free dragon here. TP.
Yeah, Showmaker does have his teleport available as well, as they do steal away the dragon, so that's Drake number 2 going on over to DPLUS, as there's the charm connecting. Great wild growth to keep Doran alive for even longer, and he'll cut up Smash! He'll finally go down, but the damage is being done as Lucid off on the backline. The slow is fantastic from that undertow to make sure the disengage comes through, and it's actually DPLUS that come out ahead.
They do come out ahead.
I mean, for now.
It looks pretty scary. It still looks scary here.
Yep, Lucid, wild cards connecting there as he's looking to try and dash his way out. Faker doesn't quite have another gold card just yet, as the wild cards are not going to quite land. And nicely done there from Lucid to survive.
Bottom side is in complete shambles here.
Yeah, ignore the rubble around the map. It's otherwise okay for DPLUS.
Minimap here, it looks like Faker just was not able to set up a gold card to stop this TP, so he TPs in way later, which is the main problem here. The charm is phenomenal, but the wild growth buys space here. Doran gets the empowered Q, takes Smash out of the fight, so they chase deeper here. Unfortunately, the rest of the members are unable to join, and Lucid is able to have a great ult there to escape, as well as help peel.
That one axe, man, that one undertow was such high value.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they could have really lost a whole lot more from that one if that hadn't landed.
If Faker also interrupts the TP from Showmaker, we didn't have view of what exactly happened there on the top side. Might have just been out of range, might not have had gold card cooldown available, but if he can't join, that fight would not have been a fight at all. So a big play there from Showmaker, who picks up a second kill this game. The only lead here for DPLUS.
Oh dear. Well, Doran is just going to combo Shiu here for a little bit, as the Craggy Ice not really doing too much here for Doran. Doran is, yeah, he's just not partaking today.
He's certainly not. And, you know, still in a game state where Smash has 2 items, okay.
Yeah.
A Dark Seal is in Showmaker's inventory, which is usually a good sign.
Okay.
For D+.
It's also,
this Ambessa is large.
Yeah. It is rapid fire cannon instead of the quick blades. I kind of like the quick blades on the Lucian.
I like it for follow-up on the Ahri charms, just because of the game state. But I agree with you in terms of what Lucian does overall.
Oh no, looking for an angle onto Lucid. Doran trying to get on over here as well. The dashes do come on out as Korea will be able to save his jungler for now.
It's a lot of first strike cold over to Owner.
Yes.
This Ambessa is really just not very tanky into these lethality items here that Owner has put together. Lethality junglers are so gold efficient. When you have first strike as well, you're just flying through the item buys, and it feels like you're cheating.
And also you get to buy Umbral Glaive as well, which is such a ridiculous item on
so
junglers,
strong.
just because you get to clear out so much enemy vision.
And it used to be even better.
Yeah.
It's very strong, as Owner's actually going to enjoy this mountain, or Infernal Soul.
Yeah, we're fighting once again, as Owner is just going to look to try and kill this Viking. He does almost die for his trouble. And now we've got Gravitum coming on down, smashing a lot of trouble, as there's the ulti out. Good tidal wave does come on in, as the Rift Herald getting a little bit antsy there as well, as the ulti from Lucid goes wide. Good sidestep there from Pays, as Doran is just having the best time on this Crocodile.
We talked about, or I briefly mentioned, let's say, Renekton seems to be the biggest benefactor of role quests in terms of the top lane in the meta, right? I'm not saying that, like, you know, a Camille could be worse than Renekton if she is in a similar game state, but of meta top laners, he just gets so huge, and he's getting even larger here now in this game, taking this whole turret down.
Yeah.
He is a full level, and almost a level and a half ahead of Xiu in this game, and can just run on top of either carry, press W, and say, cool story for you in this team fight. And he's kind of been doing that to Xiu in the side lanes. He's like, oh, I have my empowered W, I will press it on you, and he will leave, or someone else will show up, and he will die. And this is not a happy ending for DPLUS if they cannot find an answer to this, as we're moving into the first Infernal Drake here in about a minute's time. A lot of map control to T1. That mid turret going down is pretty nice here for DPLUS, but they need to hold on to their own. Still 2 plates remaining on it. So we'll see what Paze is able to pick up here. Does complete the collector with this timing. Pretty huge for him to come into this next team fight.
I'm really scared for DPLUS moving into this next fight. Obviously, it's not double dragon for either side, so you don't necessarily have to fight for this one. But I do think that...
But you're playing the Lucian comps with Ari, so
I
you
think
probably
that
will.
You kind of have to. They need to keep trying to fight for some sort of tempo in this game, because otherwise Xiu is just going to be a paperweight. We mentioned he's a stat check champion. Well, if you don't check their stats, and in fact, if you don't check the stats, then maybe you feel better about it because you haven't checked, but you're going to get checked every time. I just don't think the Olaf is going to really do too much of anything, and that's why I kind of thought the Jax felt like a better choice.
Smash
even if you're 0-3, you still have a counter-strike.
Smash has no flash, Doran has flash. That's a problem.
Well, Doran does have a lot of money on the table for DPLUS if they kill him, so I guess there's that.
T1 are just keeping Smash away with Renekton alone as they look to force this dragon.
Yeah, Showmaker moving forward here as well. It's another steal from Lucid. Nicely done there. Ona not quite able to find the angle. Xiu teleports in real late.
This is pretty good for DPLUS. Let's see if they can also get this charge.
Well,
oh, no,
all
no.
of T1 around that corner, and Lucid gets himself out of there. The charm just misses, though, as there's the Destiny Wild Growth's fantastic as Showmaker does make his way out. And now Lucid looking to try and cut down this Crocodile Smash on a flank angle. Not sure about that one, as Faker gets in. Good cleanse. Moonlight Vigil comes down, though, and they're not quite able to secure the kills. T1 wanting to try and chase them down. Lucid's on a ward and is just going to be backing. There's the ulti. Good dash, as Doran benefits from that ward over the wall.
Successful heist, I suppose you could say here for DPLUS. They do not lose the Ambessa nor anyone else on the Herald attempt. It doesn't hit the turret either, but that's for the better. Unfortunately, it may lose their mid turret though after they all had to retreat. So much damage is pushed down here, but they will group up now and clear this wave. So they keep that mid turret alive. They grab their second dragon of the game. It buys them some time, and it's some extra stats here for this Lucian, so it feels really good for them. It's not enough to make you feel like they've gotten a foothold in this game, but it is hanging on that I think is what we didn't necessarily think we would be saying about them in the rest of this game and the series, as it's again a great secure here from Lucid. And then T1 decide to, the old Faker, not hide on bush per se, but hide on corner where there's no vision. And they try to go in here and make this play as in live. By the way, Showmaker may just die to Kha'Zix.
He might, or he might
He gets
just,
away.
Yeah, dash away.
Smash?
That was a flash in trade.
I think Smash actually, his culling is not really blocked by Keria. They might have actually been able to win this fight, but it doesn't really do enough. Paze is at full health. His ultimate is super high value, and it's just hightailing it out is the best that DPLUS can hope for.
Yeah, Ona not quite able to get to any of these resets and things like that, although he did evolve W second, which is not the leap, I believe.
Yeah, it's the spikes.
Which is the Void Spike. Not to be confused with Vorpal Spikes, which is Cho'Gath's toggleable ability. So there's that. So it's way more fun to evolve E, right? You just get to reset, leap around the fight.
It is more fun, you know, if you are
and then you get to queue mid-air and stuff, and you like get to do all of those really cool highlight plays and things
If you remember that movie with the redheaded girl Annie, one of her catchphrases was "leaping lizards." So if you like to say that while you're jumping around, stomping on everybody,
I think that's what Ona has been saying every time he's been leaping. Unfortunately, he just doesn't leap very far without the evolution.
Well, with this Crocodile in the game, it feels like we got a bit of a leaping lizard, you know?
Yeah,
true. He's getting in there. He's getting into the back line. He's doing a lot of damage. As he's 2,000 gold up, and she was still just not quite passing that stat check.
Yeah, it does now have his Hex Plate, so he can get that ulti back up again, but you can see Doran just looking to break Shiyu's stride, and Shiyu's saying, ain't nobody going to break my stride, and then he's going to try and break Doran's stride.
Yes,
and
something like that.
The same thing will happen and it rotates.
Lucid is going to try to find an angle here, but they're already out. But I do applaud DPLUS' ability to group and put damage on these mid turrets. Like, they got their early mid turret, they got some plate damage on the inner.
All right. Ona dives on in. Cullen comes out. FaZe takes a bit of damage, but otherwise not too much more. Good bubble, as Faker is going to get McHale'd, I believe, or he just used the plans that he had because he has an unsealed spellbook.
Yes.
Got to make sure that you check those spellbooks. As Lucid dancing around the fight, Doran taking a little bit, but we know that he does have Wild Growth and Dominus. So and this he has a lot of HP to call on.
This is all set up by DPLUS just sending it down mid, which didn't end up getting them a win in terms of getting the turret, but it gets them this blue buff. They pulled the Renekton out of sides. They are pulling T1 around the map a little bit, and I think this is the best you could really hope for, and they're coordinating it well. And there's always that threat of Lucid getting access to the backline and getting on top of FaZe that they have to respect. And T1 playing respectfully as a result, though, will lose a little bit of map control here.
Yep.
Again, the gold lead is still there. You know, this Renekton is most of it. The Kha'Zix's also a big threat and has built up a ton of first strike gold and has 3 items completed now, of which are quite lethal. But DPLUS, maybe if they can pull T1 around the map one way and get one team fight, just one win, Smash gets 2 kills, they're in the game. And that's all it takes.
I do think this next dragon is going to be really important, because if DK can get themselves soul point, then you get so much inherent tempo. You feel so much better about the situation. What could happen instead is Showmaker could get ganked here on this top side of the map, and then T1 just wanders on down to the Drake themselves. Or Lucid face checks this brush. I'm a little bit scared about the amount of ways that I can see this going wrong, as he does spot Lucid moving into his jungle.
Showmaker playing respectfully. Here's the Destiny.
Yeah, Ona with that ulti. And Lucid unable to actually follow him over that wall. The gate moved towards the top side of the map, I believe. Actually, no, just gets him out of there. He was already up there. He was on the bottom side.
So he takes the turret and pieces out, and they don't make an overextension. They don't make a mistake. He'll grab rapid fire cannon, but Shield will trade this for a turret on the bottom side. Any alone time he can get away from Doran, I think he's very happy with right now in this game.
Oh yeah.
Finally hits level 16 and has evened up the experience.
Pretty ridiculous that he is 30 CS ahead, even though he's still 1,000 gold behind. This 0-3 Olaf is not, you know, it's not the worst.
I am starting to feel like T1 are going to have to make a really aggressive call. I thought that what they were trying to do, because they had red-white with FaZe, was bait DPLUS into this extended skirmish where they could win the fight and grab Baron, but DPLUS just didn't fall for it. They grouped, but they didn't overextend. Lucid was hanging out on the edge going, I see what you guys are trying to do. And yes, Faker is able to get the turret and then ult away, but he's not able to get any value on his ultimate after that. And so DPLUS are playing a good macro game here. They've turned this into a lot in terms of what they have. Picked up these 3 dragons. The stats alone are worth so much. If they get Soul, that 3,000 gold lead will not feel like an advantage at all here really for T1. So this game is suddenly pretty close.
I'm starting to see it appear on the hands, Wolf. You're right. Might be something in it here for DPLUS. Still, it is a 3,000 gold lead. We cannot let that one drift away. But like you were saying, that Infinity Edge is now done. And even though there are a lot of blue numbers in favor of T1, there are some win conditions here for DPLUS, especially with that dragon.
And T1 trying to set up that same type of fight here with Doran having TP in the bottom lane to force an awkward fight for DPLUS where they end up winning it and then going straight into Baron to completely take the map by onto their side, as that mid turret being alive for so long for DPLUS has been so valuable for them. They played through mid lane to pull T1 around the map incredibly well. Showmaker is also, you know, still quite a big threat in this game. Has the 3 items, has his dash cannon.
Yeah, the Shadow Flame was just completed as well, so decent little spike to be hit, especially against the champions that don't have as much magic resist. Faker does have the upgraded Merc Treads though,
yeah,
so he's feeling relatively comfortable.
They have McHale's for FaZe who doesn't have Cleanse, but you know, you've got to be very careful about getting caught by the Sari. Follow-up damage from Smash. You can't cleanse his big burst. He has IE, so I really do think this game is on a knife's edge. One mistake would determine everything.
That's a Moonlight Vigil as FaZe takes a lot of damage in return. And Smash just cleanses the gold card and moves away. Still, that is a bigger investment than Faker's Q. So
And with
we're not going to be too worried about it.
the time that was given to Shiu, he no longer just gets dunked on by Doran and sides here, and DPLUS just have a lot of map control. They have Showmaker on this flank angle. Oh god, this turret is not lasting very long.
Well, there's a teleport in. The Renekton trying to make something happen. His career in Smash maybe in a little bit of trouble. It's the double TP. The flash forward as Smash does get McHale's and then just dashes away. And so T1 unable to quite get that one to work out as Showmaker thinks he may have found an angle onto Ona, but Ona just takes half of his health bar and then they will back away. But T1 are like, wait, but we're here, guys. We should probably do the Baron.
Shiu does have his teleport now, and I think he's going to have to use it.
Yep, Showmaker looks for the Orbit Deception as now Smash gets a lot of damage onto Doran. This Lucian is very scary as Lucid. Can you do it again? That's the question. The answer is absolutely not. He's not even able to get into the pit. As now T1, can you escape? As Doran gets in there with them, and now the Olaf thinks that it's his time to shine. Goes in, immediately goes out. As now Pays gets on forward. That's the public execution, and Faker gets smashed down to the ground. Smash now looking for an angle himself as over the wall he goes. But it looks like just one for the moment as T1, they are walking the wrong direction. Trying to keep their Baron alive as Lucid, the only one without fear by the looks of things. Pays is at full health and Lucid's just dead. There is the Dominus, but the bubble is going to be good, and Showmaker finds the angle to shut down T1.
It's a bit of a disaster here for T1. They got a lot of kills at least, or they got the kill there on the end. It's a lot of kills for DPLUS despite losing the Baron. And this is so much gold injected, but T1 did take the Baron off the map. Defending this turret here and side lanes, though, is where the next port of call is going to be here. Like, how much damage can DPLUS get? As there's still a Baron onto the jungler. I was watching how this one plays out. Doran's constantly holding this angle. They do end up getting the smite here.
Now T1 turning in is crazy, man.
T1 in this situation are like, can we fight this while kiting back? And then once you get the kill onto Faker, it becomes so much more incredibly difficult to do so. The culling also getting a lot of value over the wall. The Smash follows here. And now we're just trying to set up recalls here staggered, right? And then Doran goes in here. They think they have enough damage onto Lucid. Pays does. They get the kill here. But with the wraparound now, Shiu is back. They all get routed. Only Owner will escape on the Kha'Zix for this Baron. So it'll be a negative power play here for the moment. As DPLUS, again, just going straight back to mid lane, and they're pulling T1 around the map. T1's composition struggling to find value grouped, where they've been spending so much of this game putting Doran in the side lane, but he's no longer, like I said before, just straight up winning it.
Is this... Don't tell me that's a fourth item collector something. What's that serrated Dirk turning into? Oh, unless it's going to be a Serpent's Fang. Serpent's Fang would be kind of sick.
It's actually pretty solid here.
I would really like that. That would be one that would make me feel okay. As the Drake has now spawned, Showmaker on a flank angle, trying to look for a way in. As the culling really softening. The charm connects onto Pays somehow. He goes down exceptionally low. They get the wild growth out of Carrier and the heal. My God, that was absurd from Showmaker. He does not want to go home today. And he's now looking for even more Dash Cannon and the Spirit Rush. And all the while, Lucid is getting an Infernal Soul. And what did we say about Olaf? He stat checks you. Yeah. Do you know what you get from an Infernal Soul?
A lot of stacks.
Yeah, you get some stats, baby. So maybe Shiu can actually find some relevance in this game.
I mean, he's started to be quite relevant.
He almost has a lead, actually.
Yeah, no, he is... With the CS he's picked up, obviously that's really takes a lot of the lead away from Doran. He's been given some additional time, and you know, when you're running the Twisted Fate can't really just walk at the Olaf and do anything. So the lane assignment is always kind of a trap here for T1, as there's no Baron. You know, T1's grouped around Baron. That's always a scary thing.
Hey, if you want to kill a crab, take 2 of your friends with you. Okay, that's the way to do it.
This could be a big backfire as well if T1 overcommit trying to kill Showmaker, because the rest of DPLUS is rotating up. Now, we have been here before.
Yeah.
For those who, and it was T1 with a much smaller, like they had a massive deficit, in fact, but it was a Pays Aphelios game where they had their backs against the wall. They survived really late. KT could not end the game.
Yeah, this game they actually still have a lead.
They still have a lead, but DPLUS have a lot of win cons here that are starting to come online as Owner does not want to interact, I think.
No, he's not looking to mess with this guy, as there is still a turret there.
He might have wanted to interact with the turret, but he decides not to.
No, not this time. He is going to be able to get himself out of there. Level 16 for the Kha'Zix.
T1 just don't have the ability to kill this Ahri in sides to pinch when DPLUS play this far up and have this much control over the map. Like, this comp really requires you to be able to 1-3-1 and pinch people with this Twisted Fate, but when DPLUS have this much oppressive control, if you try to go in as Faker, they'll just turn on you and kill you. As Doran is pushing a big wave bottom side, they're going to go for a TP flank.
All right, well, that's an idea that you can go for here as Ragnarok comes on through. And so that is a big cooldown, although there is a Hexblade, so I guess she should have that. Oh, Crocodile coming out of the reeds. I know about that one. That one's dangerous. They really warn you about that if you ever go to the Northern Territory.
They get the turret. They finally get that mid turret.
Where is this? Where is this Crocodile? It is lurking. Over he goes. Finds Lucid, but he gets McHale's. And T1, they cannot actually get on top of DPLUS.
Yeah, they got the turret. That's all they're going to get, it looks like here. And I mean, there's a big wave pushing in the bottom lane, but it's not enough to threaten the base or anything like that. But for the first time in a while, T1 can breathe on the map.
Hey, Korea, you were standing on top of a control ward, my guy.
It's okay, hits these bubbles.
Yeah, Tidal Wave comes on through as well. He does
hits those tidal waves.
There. He's still dead, though, Wolf.
It's okay, he has heal and flash.
He hits those bubbles. He hits those bubbles, and Showmaker was there. He used his ultimate. That's okay. All right, never mind, Korea. I just didn't know your game.
He had bubbles, he had heal, he had a mid laner.
I should have known all about bubbles. It's exactly the stage my son's up to right now.
Yeah.
It's bubbles all over the place. I need to call the bubble police for him all the time. There's bubbles everywhere.
20 seconds till this Baron spawns. And with T1 committing pretty heavily there to try to kill Career and then having to reset, map control kind of going back a little bit to DPLUS. They're going to be able to maintain vision and prio on that Baron on spawn. Plus the Infernal Soul stats are pretty huge. There's a lot of damage here in this. 3 items on this Mbessa that's level 16 as well. T1 have not been able to make these pinches happen the way they want to. Red and white is set here for Pays. This is going to have to be a hell of a team fight though if T1 is going to win this 3-0.
All right. Let's see whether they can keep them out of their own jungle. That's what they're trying to do. I'm just still so frightened. I mean, it's Pays playing Aphelios. Are you ever allowed to win a game against Pays as Aphelios? Because you have to enter the enemy base area, and then often you just die. It's all right. Destiny to come on forward here from Faker as Shiu is not exactly the target that you want to go for as this Olaf, and he does get healed up by Korea's Ebb and Flow and doesn't actually have to press Ragnarok. That is the big deal as Smash goes in and immediately regrets the decision. Faker now looking for an angle as Lucid will survive.
Slow playing this so well. Owner constantly threatening, constantly looking for those slows. If that hits, they get to put more poke in.
Yeah, they're waiting for these cooldowns. DK doing a pretty good job diligently holding on to them though. Wanting to make sure that they have everything ready for an all-in, and now could be the angle as Smash does get a lot of culling value. Look at that.
DPLUS should probably just go straight to Baron here and look for a turnaround as Owner.
Yeah, Owner just gets tagged by Smash. One double tap is half of his health bar. And that might be the sign for DPLUS just to head to the Baron.
Yeah, they absolutely should. They should go over here and start this one up right away. They're going to be able to do this very quickly, and there's just no answer for T1, and there's no one inside. T1 just have to clean up these waves, and DPLUS have such an insane control over this game now. They will actually take a gold lead for the first time in forever as well after this Baron. You have to imagine T1 just sitting back and clearing waves. Pays is level 16, and yes, this does feel very reminiscent to the KT game.
Level 20 Olaf is in this game.
Yeah.
And honestly, from the early game...
With Ghost, by the way.
I was expecting him not to quite make it this far, but he absolutely did. He's also got a Randuin's now completed, so Pays is a little bit less scary. He's still very scary, but the Olaf might actually be able to get there and be a problem.
How much of an impact Lucid's smiteaways have made in this game?
It's night and day. It's insane.
If they don't have Infernal Soul, this game feels so different. And now as T1, you're like, maybe we have to go for a 50-50 on Elder, but we have no map control. They have Baron, and we got to defend our base. T1's like, maybe we're going to get an Elder prio. And DPLUS like, maybe we're going to get a Nexus.
Well, we'll see whether that is going to be the trade, as right now Smash is just kind of hitting the turret. There's 5 seconds until the Elder is up and available, and it looks like a back is going to get channeled here by T1, and this is DK calling their bluff and being rewarded for it. Yeah. So many times it's T1 holding all the cards in these scenarios. This time DK actually able to make the right macro call.
DPLUS having a great macro game here through the mid lane the entire way through, down on gold, but keeping T1 honest on the map, and now all the cards are in their hands. Owner trying to flank, but they suss it out.
It's pretty funny because it's
yeah, the
like,
Twisted Fate.
Twisted Fate, he's got all the cards. Do you think all of his decks are Riftbound decks now?
Probably.
It might be actually a thing. Although, Rank, here we go. Out comes Owner, kind of regrets the decision as now Shiu is on the side, but does have the rest of the teammates coming on over as Faker is able to sidestep. Great charm, max range, and they're looking to try and turn it. Remember, he doesn't have the Zonyas. Oh my god, Paze! What was that? He just explodes, and T1, they will not go quietly into this good night. They will go quite loudly, and now their Nexus is going to explode.
All right, DPLUS pull it off. In the end, better macro. They push T1 into such an uncomfortable position. They have to make an all-in play. It doesn't work. Paze tries for the hero play.